People always share the good things, but the reality is in life, we have ups and downs all the time. Just like good things happen, bad things happen. We make mistakes. And one of the things I've realized in my 16 years of being an entrepreneur and being in the online space is that we tend to lean into sharing the sunshine. We do not share what we've done wrong. And ultimately, I deeply believe that that is where the biggest lessons are in our mistakes. And so today I want to share with you three of the money mistakes that I've made. Now, let me be clear. I have made way more than three, but these are the three that stands out to me because I often see them repeated with other people. I see them repeated all the time, especially in the online space. Like everyone's online and people are always sharing the things that they're doing. And I'm often seeing these things, either they're doing the wrong things or not doing the right things. And so I want to dip into these three financial mistakes that I have made. And yeah, just stick with me. And welcome to the home where we share all things personal growth. Today, I want to dip into some financial pieces of personal growth and share with you the three money mistakes or mistakes I've made with money in hopes that if you're making those mistakes, you can pivot a little bit and course correct. And if you're not yet at the place to make some of those mistakes, that when you get to that place, that you will just miss these potholes altogether. All right. So I want to jump right into it so that we are not taking way too long here today. But the first one is being afraid of the word budget. Now, I see this quite often, especially in the time of social media where everyone's rich. And I am using this in quotation because it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Everyone's not rich. Everyone's not even thriving. And so we have to come out of that space of needing to pretend, needing to put off a certain life or for certain appearance of life. But I've seen this over and over in comments and in posts people are making and in groups and even on YouTube where people would talk about budgeting and people will say something like, well, if you're broke, just say that. Well, something I don't think people realize is budget has nothing to do with the amount of money you have. As a matter of fact, trust fund babies create budgets all the time. They know how much money they have in the trust fund. They know how much they're allocated monthly. There's still a budget. If you are an entrepreneur and you know your money can fluctuate. And so if you need to make money, you can go make money. You still should have a budget. A budget is simply a plan. And don't know who said it, but it's a saying that says, if you don't make a plan, you're planning to fail. And I really love that because it's the truth. I think about my first few years of doing seven figures or above per year, and I would end the year every time not knowing what happened to the money. I could tell you some of the things that I would do, but most of it just wouldn't add up. And I have, a friend who is an accountant. She would literally say, "Oh my goodness, Stephanie, what is happening?" And so I would just send her everything, the bank statements and the credit cards, and kind of let her figure it out. But I wasn't clear on where the money was going. There was no real budget. And I remember someone telling me I needed a budget, and it felt insulting. How dare you tell me I need a budget? But literally, if you take out of your mind that a budget is for people who don't have money and recognize that a budget is simply a plan for your money, you will be so much further ahead. When I started making budgets for the year, budgets for the quarter, and budgets for the month, it was amazing how I was able to not just see where my money was going, but also having so much money left to do other things with that was much more beneficial for me. So really embrace making budgets and having budgets and doing budgets because they will change your money experience. The other thing about this, and I am so much the mindset, the internal work, girly. When you are on top of your finances, you leave more room for more finances to come. So I also began to notice the more I would create this budget and have a plan and see where my money was going and see where I would spend the most amount of money, I was able to make more money the more I really sat with it and paid attention. And so I guess this is kind of number two, but not really, because it's actually not a part of the three. We'll just add it on to the budget. It's paying attention to your money, paying attention to how much money you have, paying attention to where your money is going. Really, anything that you put your energy into will grow. This is good and bad. If you're putting your energy into not having, you're not going to have. If you're putting your energy into what you have, you're going to have more. And so I can't help but believe that my interest and my attention and my energy on how much money the company was bringing in and what we were doing with that money helped me create even more money. And so don't forget that what you put your energy on, what you put your attention on, is what is always going to grow. A budget helped me really put my attention not just on making or what to do with the money that I have, but on making more money as well. All right. Number two, and this one is interesting because I remember the mindset I was at. And it's not investing early, not starting out investing. And I am not just talking about entrepreneurial world. I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years. I'm not talking just about that. Even in my time in corporate America, I remember signing up for a 401k and then wanting to do the max, but not doing the max because I felt like I needed the money. And I would have all these excuses when the reality was and is that if I had made it a priority, I absolutely could have. But for some reason, when we are talking about investing and when we are talking about getting into funds or investing in this or this or this, typically we think we have time. And sure, time is always there. But it's something called compound interest that the earlier you start, the easier and quicker it is to make even more money. I think it was Warren Buffett's partner who died. Charlie, can't think of the last name. I think it was Charlie. I may have his name wrong, but it's Warren Buffett's partner. I will put his name here on the screen. I think he passed maybe a year ago. He talked about the goal is to get your first 100,000. When you get your first 100,000, it can then grow faster and faster. Where the younger you start doing any sort of investing, the easier it is going to be for you to get to that 100K. And then it will snowball so quickly and your life will change. Well, I didn't really start investing until my late 30s. Not really. I had an investment or two, but I did not seriously invest because I kept thinking I felt like I was in a place where I couldn't yet invest the way I needed to. But the reality is I could have started early, even if I only invested $50 a month. Something was better than nothing, and it would have kept compounding through the years. I didn't know any better. And even when people tried to explain it to me, because I did not have that know-how or insight or wasn't raised being shown that, then I just couldn't quite grasp it. All I could grasp is the bills that's due today, the bills that's due this month or next month, or I want to go on vacation or my immediate desire, right? And I have to say that for me now, I can tell you right now, if I knew about money 20 years ago, what I know about money today, some of those desires could have been put off because I promise you some of those things that I did and desired to do would have been a lot more fun knowing that my money was somewhere making me money. Knowing that I didn't have to rush home and do some more work or even being on vacation while making social media. Like, I think now people think it's so cute. Like, we're making content. That's so cute. I've been doing that for 16 years. That when I see it, it's like, oh, y'all want to make content all day, every day, been there, done that. The reality is you want to be able to create your content and enjoy your life. You should not have to take a picture of every meal. People should not have to know every vacation. People should not have to know as soon as you sit in first class or fly private or when you buy something. Like something should be able to be for you. But because the reality is you're constantly in money making mode, and making content is a part of your money making mode. Because you are constantly in that space, you can't really enjoy your experience. It's no way you can be present while making content. You're missing conversation. You're missing what's being said. You're missing unspoken cues because you're so busy into creating content so that you can make more money. When the reality is, if you create a life where your money is making money for you and you're able to go on these vacations and relax, yeah, you might take a few minutes to make a little bit of content if you want to, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time. Someone asked me, a friend of mine actually was looking at some stuff that I have, and she was like, "Wait, you flown private?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, a lot. I used to have a private jet membership." And she's like, "I don't remember seeing you post anything." I'm like, "Yeah, because I was enjoying my experience. It just didn't even occur to me." But by then, I got to a point where I was investing. My money was making money for me. I didn't feel the need to share these things so that people can buy more things from me because they see what I have, and creating that aspirational brand. That's basically what it is that most people are doing, creating this aspirational brand. And I just didn't feel it necessary to record everything in my life. So really, if I could do it over again, I would have started investing before I thought I was ready to invest. I would have started investing when I could have sworn I couldn't invest. Again, even if it was only $50. I like right now, and it's seriously not that much in there. It's only about $4,000 in one of my investments. I want to say it's either like AT&T or something like that. I want to say it was AT&T because at the time I worked for them. I only put a couple of hundred in there, and I like just never touched it since then. And they have disbursements. And so when the disbursements come back, I just let it put it back in the account, and it's gone from a couple of hundred, literally probably 150, 200. I never put any more money in there to now it's a few thousand. And that's been a whole bunch of years ago. But imagine if I was investing consistently, what that would have grown into. And so I would definitely say not investing soon enough was a huge mistake that I made. I have definitely been playing catch up, and I'll talk about that on another day. I've been having to be much more of an aggressive investor, which can run you into some trouble. And like I said, I'll talk about that another day because sometimes you overinvest. And what I mean by overinvest, you are so gun-ho about catching up on time that you can never catch up on compound interest that you will never ever catch up on, that then you overinvest and you're running a little short on cash because you put so much cash into the investment. So like I said, I'll talk about that another day. But I would say that is one, wherever you are, whether you're 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, wherever you are, you can start right now, even if it's you feel it's not that much to invest. You can start right now. And last but not least, and this one will be a little bit controversial for a lot of people. I don't know why it's controversial. It's the truth. And it is, designer brands are not investments. Those are not investments. And I remember the first 100K month I had, the very first 100K month I had, I did $134,000. And the first thing I wanted to do was not an investment. I wanted to go buy a handbag. Now, to be clear, this was before, I feel like now people are like purses, purses. So I've been in this game for so many years. This was a long time ago for me, but I have always been a purse girly. I mean, even as a little girl, we would go in Marshalls or TJ. Well, was it a TJ Maxx? I know we'll go in Marshalls. We would go in Walmart. I didn't care what I was, where it was. I wanted a little purse. I've always been a purse girly, and so I don't really care about the brands, but I wanted to be able to buy something that I felt was really great quality. And I didn't even care about the name then. And matter of fact, I didn't know much about the brand when I bought the bag that I ended up buying. So I ended up buying a bag that was almost 4,000, and I love it. And I still have that bag to today. It is like the softest, most amazing leather. I sometimes will carry it as a carry-on. Like, I love it. It's cute, right? And that is fine. But then I got into a habit of every time I would, make a certain amount to the store, I would go. Now, you have to recognize, if you run a business, if you do 100K, The whole 100K isn't even yours. It's the business money. You really should be paying yourself a salary, which is a conversation again we should have at another day. But also, it got to a point where I was lying to myself and saying, oh, this is an investment. These purses go up in value. Let me tell you, though it's true that some handbags will go up in value over a certain number of years, depending on how rare the bag is or how desired the bag is, the reality is it is not actually something that's making you money in the moment. And so we need to quit pretending it's a house where, like, we know you can refinance a house or you can sell a house and make money. You're not living in the bag. If we're going to call something an investment, it needs to be something that's actively making us money, and also something we know will increase in value. We don't really know. And I can tell you firsthand that there have been bags that I have sold that I definitely lost money on. And yes, we are talking about Chanel's, we are talking about Hermes. These are all bags that I have sold and I lost money on. And so when I hear people say that, I'm like, listen, that's cute because you're making an excuse to buy the bag. But it's ultimately not an investment. Do I believe that you can have nice things? Like, I don't think it needs to be a designer to be nice, but do I think you can have designer things? Absolutely. If that's what you want and it fits into your plan, AKA your budget, and it fits into your budget in a way that you are not making real investments. And when I mean real investments, I mean stocks, bonds, funds, properties, land, homes, single family, multifamily. I mean, things that will literally make you money without you having to work. If you aren't also balancing that, that is a huge, huge mistake. And so I would never now make buying designer items a part of my money plan. It's just not. I don't really care that much about it. If it's something I desire, fine. I also have a closet full of them. But I will tell you right now, I haven't bought a designer bag in maybe 4 years at this point, probably 5. It was, well, maybe not that long. It was during the pandemic. I think it was 2020. So yeah, that's about 4 years. I haven't bought a designer bag. I have no desire to. Like, literally nothing in me. If I see something that's I just am in love with, fine. But what I have bought is, in Italy, I bought a custom made leather tote. Like, though I'm more into quality. And so a custom made leather tote, so good, so amazing. It smells so good. And it was less than €100. And it's just as beautiful. If I was to be honest, it's better quality than a lot of these designer bags. And so that's just my truth. And that was a huge mistake that I made. I told someone, it was something that I wanted to buy a few years ago, and I realized I did not have the cash for it. I didn't even have enough investments to cash in to buy it. And I was very disappointed in myself. I was disappointed in myself that I had made so much money. And even in making so much money, I did not have the money to go purchase what would have also been an investment. And I was disappointed in so many of my actions. And then I knew I could open my closet and, a quarter of what I needed was hanging in my closet, right? That was crazy to me. Not even a quarter, probably like a tenth. Probably like a tenth of what I needed was hanging in my closet, when if I had taken the money that I bought those things with and I had invested it, I would have at least been halfway to the amount that was needed for the investment that I wanted to invest in, which was huge. And so they say hindsight is 2020, and it's true. Hindsight, you can see everything clearly. Hindsight, you can say shoulda, coulda, woulda. And so one of the things that I really wanted to do with Your Rich Life Media was to share not just in traditional personal growth, the personal growth we talk about already, the mindset, the internal work. I wanted to not share just that, but also about money and finances and regrets that I have. And that's a lot of it. Again, it's not that I wouldn't have bought any of it, but it didn't have to go. I talk about this, or I have talked about this. I had a month that I spent $60,000 on nothing. I mean, it was all on handbags and shoes, and it was so silly. It was so stupid. And for what? And again, some of these conversations I'm going to leave for other days because I want to at some point talk about how um, buying luxury goods and spending money, even if it's not luxury, just the art of spending money often is therapy for people as opposed to actually going to therapy. But we'll save that to another day. So those are my three things. Number one is not having a budget sooner. Number two, not investing my money even if it was 50 bucks a month from day one. And number three, treating designer items as if they're investments when they absolutely are not. I would love your thoughts about the list that I gave you today. Be sure to leave them in the comments for me. If you have any money mistakes that you know you have made that you would like to share, let me know. Until next time, it's Stephanie for Your Rich Life Media.